Howdy, and thanks for dropping by for another postcard from Moorhead. I'm Larry Dixon, and today we're doing some prep work in preparation for that big Thanksgiving meal here in Moorhead. We're going to have 10, 11, 12 people here, so on Thanksgiving morning, this kitchen is going to be bustling and hustling, so things we can get done ahead of time, that's what we're going to do. And sage dressing is one of them. This is Mom's old recipe for cornbread sage dressing. So I have never started with the ingredients pre-measured. It's always been a gob of this, a daub of that, a pinch or something. But at the end of this video, I'm going to have everything measured out for you so you can see how much I put in of everything. So the ingredients, I always use the Pepperidge Classic cornbread, not the garlic stuff, just the classic old-fashioned. Celery, onion. Normally we use chicken broth, but we have some vegetarians in the family and we are going to use vegetable broth this time, and quite frankly I can't tell the difference in the flavor, so you can use the vegetable broth or chicken broth, whichever is your preference. And then the main ingredient is going to be sage seasoning. Now, if you have some old sage left over in the cupboard, don't worry. Throw that stuff away and get fresh. The fresh sage seasoning makes all the difference. If you use that stuff left over from last year, it's going to be flat. You won't be able to taste it. So I always start out with fresh sage dressing or seasoning. So to get this started, the first thing I'm going to do is try to make a little bit of room here in my prep station. And I'm going to start with 2 bags of cornbread stuffing mix. Then I'm going to add my liquid. And I'm just going to put this entire box of liquid in there because it's going to take quite a bit to get this much cornbread moist. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and in the meantime, I am going to chop up my onion. And like I said, some people like to saute their vegetables, their celery and their onion before they put it in the dressing. Not me. I like the crunch and I like that raw flavor. So we're going to cut up our onion. And now this is about the size of the pieces of onion that I like to put in my old-fashioned sage dressing. You can make it finer, chunkier, it's up to you. And for measuring purposes, I'm going to start measuring here. Now as for the onion, you can use a yellow onion, a sweet onion, a red onion, I don't care. That's going to be to your choice of what flavor of onion you like. So this is 1 full cup of onion. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. I think I'm going to need a little bit more. Oh, I know I am. I'm going to need some more onion to go in that. So I'm starting out with a 1.5 cups of chopped up onion. The next thing I'm going to chop up is going to be the celery. I have already washed the celery, but I'm going to cut off the rough ends. I like to split the celery down the center, and then a little bite-sized chunks. So I've got my celery cut up. I'm starting out with a full heaping cup of celery. Going to dump that in, and I'm going to need more celery. I can already tell that, but I'm going to try to mix some of this up and see where we're at. Going to need some more liquid. Put about, a half of that box in there, because that cornbread is going to soak up a lot of the liquid. Okay, I've got that started, so now I'm ready to go ahead and add my third bag of breadcrumbs into this. For baking purposes, I've got this 9 by 13 aluminum pan. And just by looking, I can tell already I'm going to go ahead and finish up putting the rest of this onion. So that's 1.5 onions that I put into this. So I need to add more celery. I like to split it down the middle. I got this other stalk here, the third one that I'm adding to it. And there's a bad end to cut that off. So it's going to be 2 full cups of celery to the 3 bags of cornbread. So let's mix this up. And as this sets out, those breadcrumbs are going to soak up the moisture. So when you get ready to put it in the oven to bake, you may need to add just a little bit more liquid. Not a problem, you can do that. The other thing that I didn't mention was, as we're preparing this ahead of time, we're not going to bake this today. It's going to be pre-made. We're going to put it in the fridge or the freezer, and then that morning we are going to bake it in the oven. So this is a great time saver, doing this ahead of time. Now for the magic ingredient, the sage. And I am very liberal with the sage. I like that sage flavor. That's what I grew up on, was Mom's old-fashioned sage dressing or stuffing. So let's give it a quick taste test. It's not bad. Definitely needs some more sage. Now, a lot of people may not like this much sage in their dressing, but that's what we all grew up with, and that's the flavor that we really want. Okay, I've got the celery, the onions, the sage in there. I've got it at the texture that I want it to be at. It's a little sticky. That's the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to put it in this 9 by 13 aluminum pan. Pat it out nice and flat so it'll all fit in the pan. So I'm not going to put this in the oven and bake it today. I am going to put it in the cooler, in the fridge, And now when it comes time to put it in the oven and bake it, I'll probably need to pour a little bit of liquid on top because those breadcrumbs are going to soak up those liquids, going to continue doing that. But it is, at this point, it is ready to go in the oven. Thanksgiving morning, going to cover it. I've got a nice big piece of aluminum foil here. Going to cover it. And then come Thursday morning, we're going to pop this in the oven for about, say, 350 degrees until it gets warm in the center. It gets a little bit of a crust on top. Okay, well, the dressing has been in the freezer. I've let it thaw, come up to room temperature. It's going to bake or been baking about an hour, hour and a half, depends on what you like. So let's take it out of the oven. I baked it at 375. This has been in there for an hour and a half because it was cold out of the freezer or out of the refrigerator. So let's take it out. Remove the tin foil. It sure looks good. Get my spoon and I'm going to give this a try. I love that sage dressing, and it's an mom's old recipe, and I'm going to let you, there's what it looks like, and we are ready to have sage dressing for this Thanksgiving. See you all later. So this has been a postcard from Morehead. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share. This has been Mom's old-fashioned sage dressing or stuffing, whichever you prefer to call it. See you next time on the road. Larry Dixon, postcard from Morehead. Thanks for watching.